I know you have a story about Bruce Hales. Can you walk us through what happened in that?
Yeah, so back in 2010, they were holding a fellowship meeting in Zurich, and Bruce Hales was coming to visit, and he came to stay with us. He didn't come to stay that time; he just came to visit before the meeting, and it was a very weird experience. Like it was very superficial, and we had to have the house absolutely immaculate. We had people like Warwick Joyce or John Anderson, and coming to vet the house beforehand to make sure it was suitable for His Majesty to come
It's like
and
having the
visit.
Pope, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the Pope
But
doesn't
there's
even
no
care about
hierarchy.
those kind of things.
There's no hierarchy in there, though, remember? There's no
No, no.
hierarchical position.
Oh,
So,
and I remember we never used to have our cars in the garage, and we had to have the garage cleared out so he could drive into the garage so nobody could see him. Who fucking cares? We're in a small village in Switzerland. No one bloody cares about this guy. The balcony had to have bamboo walls put up and everything, and la di da di da. It was havoc for weeks before he came, and it was all over in 2 hours. Anyways, he came along, came in a house. Of course, he enters the house, and everyone is silent. Not a word is spoken, and yeah, he sat down in his big sofa that we'd bought specially for him. We had to buy a special sofa
you
for him.
bought a new sofa?
We bought a new, like a single sofa kind of seat for him to sit in. And they were like, yeah, that would be the kind of one he would like, and blah, blah, blah. And the
His
palette.
holy ass can't sit on a used chair.
I'm telling you, I can't even go into all the details because there's too many, but it was just insane. And I remember he was sitting there, and us kids were kind of like clambering around him because, it was this special guy that had come. And I remember I knocked my head on the headrest of one of the sofas, and it was kind of a bit of a commotion. And he looked over at me and he was like, "What's your name?" And I was Dawson. He misunderstood it and said Lawson. And he kind of went into this topic as this Lawson, someone who went through the Arctic and survived on this mission, and blah 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 blah. And we had to look into it. My parents had to do all this research on it because it was obviously like guidance on a specific topic. And they were like, was that guidance on a possible name change? Like, should your name now be Lawson because that's what he said, and all this shit. Like, it was just so pathetic. It was so awful. And I remember as a small child, like, I hated it. Like, I really hated it. Anyways,
But that's
we had
because
to,
every word he says is like law. If he said it, it
yeah,
must mean that the
it
Lord
must be
means
something.
something for you. Even if you
Yeah,
change your 10-year-old child's name.
it's just I can't even describe how abnormal it is. And just like I tell my friends about this, and they sit there with their jaws hanging because they can't believe this kind of hierarchy exists in the current world we live in. It's just so abnormal. Anyhow, he left, and then 10 days later he turned up again. Like it was a surprise visit and nobody knew about it. And I remember this, I will never forget this. The evening before he came, us kids, we used to have so much, like there was four of us little boys, and we'd cause so much trouble, right? And there was this one room in our house which had nice slidey floorboards. And we used to polish it. We used to spray polish on the floor and, get mum's oven gloves and pretend we were snowboarding because it was so slippery. Anyway, that evening, John Anderson and Nick Sidifin and a bunch of other heavies turned up, and obviously we're like, Mick and Grace cheering. Bruce Hales is arriving tomorrow morning early. House needs to be immaculate tonight. We had to arrange all people to come and help overnight. And I remember them on their hands and knees scrubbing this floor to get the polish off in case Bruce Hales slipped up on it, right? So that was my first, like, yes, done something to cause fear. Had no idea Bruce Hales was coming.
Give him mum's oven gloves. He
Literally.
could slide as well.
The next morning, I remember being woken up to my sister being like, "You gotta get up, Bruce Hales is coming to stay." And I was like, "What? Fuck this shit. You're not waking me up because that idiot's coming to stay." I remember I was so pissed that they'd woken me up because Brucey was coming to stay. Anyway, he came to stay for 2 days, and that was the time where he Zurich consisted of a lot of little like family-owned businesses, and they were all struggling a bit. Like little businesses struggle, like it's a normal thing. Not a lot of them actually have success, right? So he generated this new concept of joining all these little businesses together as what we now know as one Zurich group. So it's like 4 or 5 different companies that they combine together. Keep in mind, right, it's a small locality. These people spend a lot of time together already. Then they had to spend all day, every day with each other. You go to work with each other, you go to the meeting with each other, you go to school with each other, you spend the weekend with each other. It caused chaos. People started picking sides. There was so much gossip around that time. Like I remember as a little kid, you'd always listen to all this stuff, and this person was having a go at that person, and that person was having a go at that person, because now one person had become the, you know, like the managing director of the entire group and was managing everyone's little companies, and they obviously didn't want to let the little companies go. And people became so pissed, they were like, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. I'm going to work in the warehouse from now on doing deliveries because I'm so pissed at what they've done with my company. Like people not even wanting to give their companies away. They had no choice. They had to hand over their companies to be part of this group. That was one thing he did. Then the next thing he did was the next day he flew to Rome. And this is when he merged Castellamare and Novi, which were 2 different meetings, and made them to one, which was Rome. And again, taking people from places they've grown up in, their hometowns, moving them to a completely new city, putting them together, making them work together with completely new faces, making people move from Australia to Rome to help build up their locality. And I remember like the Italian people absolutely hated those Australian people that had moved in, these big heavies that were there on a mission to help build up the place. And I remember one thing that happened was there was a guy there called, I think it was called Gianni, if I have it correct in my memory. Bruce Hales made him change his name to John because Gianni didn't really fit in. Like he thought it would be more suitable if his name was more something English and, you know, that he could pronounce probably. I don't understand, but imagine someone coming along saying, right, you're not going to live there anymore. You're now going to live here. You're now going to work with X, Y, Z, whether you like it or not. Oh, and by the way, your name is no longer Gianni. It's John. Surprise.
So it's like a cultural overhaul, like with
But it's
absolutely
not a
no
cult.
consideration. No.
And they've suffered
Not a
ever
cult.
since. Okay, I've been there many times ever since, and they have suffered. And what that also took away from Zurich was Novi was like the previous locality was like 3-4 hours away from where we lived. So we would look forward to meeting up with them every other week because they were another small isolated locality.
Yeah.
And that was then taken away from us. So that also made me like even more angry. Anyway, that evening he flew home from Rome back to Zurich. And I remember there was all this chaos because his private jet was, you know, delayed and they couldn't get here on time. And they came home and they were like, do you know what happened? Like Bruce Hales told the pilot what altitude and what speed to fly at. And his plane landed 2 or 3 seconds before the curfew. Like, isn't that just divine intervention? Like, look at how amazing he is. And it was just like, gag.
He's a pompous ass.
As if the fucking pilot listened to some drunk heavy in the back of his plane telling him what altitude and speed to fly. He knew what he was doing. That's a career, okay? A pilot is a career. He's studied that. He knows what he's doing. Whatever. He comes home. He was pretty drunk, right? He comes home. They're like, oh no, he's just exhausted. He's had like this, he's been to Rome and helping the brethren and blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, he then got someone to play the piano. And the song they were playing was Those Were the Days, My Friends, or something like that. May I remind you, not written by a cult member, okay? And they were all standing around the piano and singing along. And I remember him like leaning on my brother because he wasn't able to stand up. And then danced with his wife around the lounge, and it was all just like, everyone remembers it as an amazing experience except for me. I was sitting in the corner just being like, who the hell is this person who's in our house? Like, this is not what I imagined the man of God like. He didn't leave a good impression on me. It was all like these rules changing and this is happening and now these people are doing that, and it caused havoc for years and years and years afterwards for the whole locality. And this is the craziest part of it, right? So the One Zurich Group idea, merging these companies and everything they did, who did it benefit at the end of the day? The profits went to him, into his back pocket. So this is what he's doing. He goes around, changes all these things. People have to listen to him because he's the man of God. But who does it benefit? Nobody else except for his ass. And people don't wake, and they know it. People do know it in there, but they're not waking up to be like, okay.
And explain why. Explain how him doing that would end up in his pocket. Because all the money goes, the cult members earn more, they donate more, they buy bigger houses, they buy bigger cars, they entertain with better whiskey, they put more money into the school funds, they put more money into the collection on Care Meeting Saturday, which is where they put all their money in the basket to give to people who do the ministry like Bruce Hales. So that's through a chain of events, it all ends up in his pocket, but he ends up looking like the good Samaritan who had a little bit of an unhinged evening at Mick Ching's. Wasn't he so chill? He was so relaxed. We've never seen our brother like that. He was just going off his rocker a little bit.
And he would describe himself as a humble servant of the Lord.
Yeah.
Bullshit. We organized the bloody sofa for your fat ass to sit in. We had to get crystal cut glasses for you to drink your bloody whiskey out of. You're not a humble servant. You're the complete opposite. You even act worse than a bloody king because you're the one who
Did he ask for a special menu? Because he does that sometimes.
Yeah, we did have a special kind of menu, and it all had to be like signed off beforehand. It all had to go through the heavies, and like they had to check the diet, and okay, that's suitable. That kind of whiskey is going to be suitable for him. Make sure you have clear ice and not like the freezer generated ice kind of thing. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, it's only the best for the king. I've heard that expression.
It was awful.
Only the best for the king.
I remember happening was around that time, he had spoken about the age of 12 when you become a man or something like that. And I remember he said to me, obviously I was on my best behavior, okay? The man of God was in house. I was on my best behavior. And he looked down at me, he's like, you act like a 12-year-old. And I was 10 at the time, and everyone was like, oh, wow, like Dawson's been told he acts like a 12-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I'm on my best behavior because you're here. You don't actually realize I'm the worst fucking kid you could come across. I'm gay.
Was that the last time you behaved so well?
Probably.
Humble. Yeah.
And now, my parents are building a new house. I don't know whether it's finished, but they're building this new house with special quarters for His Majesty. So he would have his own little bedroom. There's a car garage, like a car lift, so they can drive it into the lift, and the lift goes down. The car is in the underground garage. He can come out in the lift. He's got his own little quarters with his bedroom and kitchen and ensuite and everything else. It's the extents they go to for this man is just.
And this is not a given that he'll stay there. This is a maybe once in their life again.
Yeah.
They're willing to invest all that money and time instead of in their children.
Yeah, absolutely.